Now that all the most important data has been inserted to Eziil, it's time to come to the backbone of the whole production module of Eziil, that is a structure. Structure is bill of materials plus bill of operations and how they are linked together. Some people also call it the recipe, and that is actually a good analog because it lists out the components, the quantities, the operations or activities, and also the times needed to cook a perfect cake or whatever you are producing in your own company. Structures can be found under production and structures, and here we have some examples. Let's take telescope number 5. Here in the header we see that all the structures require article number for which we are creating the structure for, and here we also have a name that comes from the article card itself. In general, the first row is what comes out of the production, and everything that's underneath it are the components, sub-assemblies, details, materials that are required to go in. And if we look at this one sub-assembly here, then we can see that sub-assembly can have even more levels underneath it, and you can go as deep with the sub-assemblies as you need. Also, here is written out the quantity that is required. For example, this hex head screw is required 16 pieces to make one final product of telescope number 5. As I mentioned earlier, also operations, these are on the material row, and they also have to be on the main row, which is where the product comes together. If we talk in the example of metal industry, this can be welding, montage, packing, so on. And let's look at the operations as well. Here we have a sequence. Do they have to go in specific order, or they can be done simultaneously? We can also say which machine is the one that has to do the job. It doesn't have to be done here. It can be chosen later on as well. The time in seconds, minutes, hours you choose, setup time, and what's the cool part? It's the linking of the materials with the operations, and that is done here. We can also add drawings, and we can say if something is purchased, not produced. But I won't go deeper on the structure because it's quite complex, and we will discuss it in a separate video series.